Cool. I think we can pause it right there, right there, right there. Hi there, everyone. How are you? It's me, yours naturally, and I welcome you to our Friday date. What is it? Lunch date or Friday date, whatever you want to call it. So, I think we can still call it lunch. I'm trying to work out the time. 2 o'clock. Is it still lunch? So today I'd like to touch a bit on my trip. I was away, just came back a while back, and it's quite interesting what I saw when I was out there. I was in another province, in the Northwest province, just going on vacation with my family before we go back to the grind of work, before we go back to school, just freshen ourselves up before we go back to school. So on Monday for us is back to reality. And I was just, we went to a place for a family to go to. And what I would like to touch on is, guys, people do not dress. You know, is it public indecency? So yeah, as ambassadors of a fulfilling lifestyle, and there's a huge outcry in the world, as we know, when coming to modesty. Hi there, my son, Messiah. Is that how you call your name? Okay, Holy Priest is from Johannesburg. Hi, Holy Priest. I'm happy to have you here. So, Holy Priest, there's a project I'll be working with them somewhere towards the end, mid-year, I think. I did mention them. Thank you so much for being able to join us in our live today. And thank you so much, my son, Messiah or Mesla. If you can just maybe put there, how do I pronounce your name? Is it my son? Hi there, where are you from? Where are you from? So yeah, it's I was saying so we were out with family on our vacation, and the issues of decency, it's something that we as people, we really need to take seriously, you know and what we found is that you go to a destination. Yes, it is private property, but it's something that is created for families. But then, as much as there is pools and things like that, but there is a certain manner in which you dress yourself. And I think that is just one of the symptoms that we suffer from as a community. Somebody may say, no, but it's by the pool, so it's okay to dress in a certain way. But then, is it really okay to dress in a certain way? Way back then, it used to be frowned upon to be looking to be, I don't want to say dressed in a certain way, but it used to be frowned upon way back when. Now, just because you are by the pool, you can be in such, there is swimwear that is decent. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I'm struggling to find words. I think I'm really, really exhausted. There is swimwear that is decent. There is swimwear that is presentable, that we can put on. Oh, hi there, Cupcake. How are you? I love your name. At work, I've got a colleague. We call each other Cupcake. How are you, Cupcake? It makes me so happy seeing someone who shares the same name that me and my colleague. We're so close. That's what we call each other. Hi there, Cupcake. How are you doing? So yeah, and back to our conversation. Public. I don't know, how you expose yourself publicly. And it's not common with the men. It's mainly with us women. How we present ourselves in public. do us women, I'm going to say us, putting myself in the mix and a few other women who don't even belong in that mix. I know I don't belong in that mix as well, but it's something that is being done mostly, it's not only, but mostly by women. So I don't know, where we were at, there's a apparently I found out the day before yesterday. We learned that yesterday there was actually not day before yesterday. There is a pool area that is for adults only where kids are not allowed. So I'm assuming if that resort does have an area where it's only for adults, surely you can wear those swimwear that really is a bit it's that leaves very little to the imagination. And then you get the pool area that are for the general masses, that are for the public. In those areas, you find families, you find a whole lot of us sitting there with our children, with our families, with our senior elders from our families as well. And the dress code, yes, I get it. We are at the pool. But do you have to wear a swimwear that is a G-string at a pool where there is families and small children? Doesn't end there. And then we decided day before yesterday, we're going to go sit on the other side, the kiddies side now. So there is also a kiddies, in that resort, there's a kiddies side. So on the kiddies side, obviously you find there is mainly kiddies, mummies and daddies, there is grannies who are there. And next to us, there was a bunch of girls who came, young girls. I'm thinking they came for content. And honestly, very skimpy, very, very skimpy wear. This swimwear that I'm talking about, the one that's like a G-string swimwear, have that little piece and a little piece at the top. And it's in a kiddies pool. I promise you, kiddies pool, they go in there with their friends, all four of them. And I was wondering, how are they going to touch each other and hug each other? Because, you'll be touching each other's, for the lack of a decent word, buttocks. And they went inside the kiddies pool where there is 2-year-old babies swimming with their grannies and their daddies and mummies. Like, has our level of morality as a society gone out the window? I think this is something that we seriously need to take into. It should be conversations that we bring on our dining tables in our homes, because it really is becoming a problem. Because if you are now going to a family on a family outing at a family structured resort, and then you leave the area where there is the general masses and you go to the kiddies side, only because it's a bit, now I can breathe easy. I don't have to keep hiding myself. And I've got a child. I've got a son, and my son is gonna have to look at these people, and you don't go out looking for them. They're just in your face. Somebody just boom in your face. So I think that as people who are concerned about our morality, people who are concerned about the value of us as a people of humanity, and who are still concerned about, I don't know why English is such a problem today, as people who take high regard, in values, in ethics, in how we treat each other, in how we, present, that respect. I think these are conversations we need to bring to our tables, to our dining tables, start having those discussions with our families. So 2 years back, we went out again, my son and I, on a family cruise, and same situation. Maybe, I don't know, what is it that we can do? Maybe that's the question we should be asking. What is it that we can do so that us as a people, everyone is accommodated in our democracy? What is it that we can do so that these places everyone can enjoy without feeling otherwise? We know we're living in a society where, there is issues of gender-based violence, which is high. We're living in a society where there is, sexual harassment that are being put out there. Now, if ever you can present and package yourself in a way that another person is not able to enjoy their space, meaning you are violating somebody else's uh, uh, rights as well to enjoy an environment, what do you do? Hi there, HMB. How are you? Where are you from? Just ignore them. That would be a great one to just ignore them. It would be a great one to just ignore them. But we also need to remember that a fall of great things is when good people keep quiet as well. Yes, it's good you can ignore them and then maybe eventually decide, I'm not going to go to any places. We went to one here, it's a water park here in Gauteng, and it was the same to a point where we were like, okay, so when I think they need these resorts, these fun places, they need to have a day maybe where they say, okay, this event this time around today it's only for adults only. Then people can do whatever they want. Then if you rock up with your kids, or they say we are relaxed on morals, then maybe there should be a day they say we're focusing on families. Because remember, these establishments, they do have the control. And the control, you see them in their doors. When you come in, it always says admin right of admission reserved. So they hold the rights. They can actually help in setting the rules that this behavior is not going to be tolerated here. I don't know if anyone has ever used the Gautrain. So in the Gautrain, we all know chewing gum is not allowed. Keeping in mind, this is not about the chewing gum. I'm just trying to stress the point that rights of admission is reserved. That the owners or the runners, the managers of these institutions, they do have the power to ensure that everyone is comfortable, no one is being offended. Remember, because public indecency or indecent exposure, whatever, I'm not a legal person, but when you do that, you are putting somebody at a discomfort. You are infringing on their comfort as well. So if you go to there's a bullet train, those who don't know what is the Gautrain, here in South Africa, the province Gauteng, there is a train. It's almost like a bullet train if you call it like that. So it's used for transporting people to and from work. It's the fastest train, even faster than using a car. They've got rules. When you go there, chewing gum is not allowed. You don't eat in that train. You don't, even at their train stations, no eating is allowed. No drinking is allowed. No chewing gum is allowed. So even if you go in without eating or anything, they will let you in. But once they see you chewing or whatever, they come security and they say, give. This is not allowed. So I think it's something. It's conversations we need to start open up as societies, as families. Like now that we find ourselves in this situation, before I like the idea of just ignoring them. HMB is just that would ignoring them do us good in the long run? Because ignoring them is also a decision we are taking, and meaning that we condone that behavior, we are happy about that behavior. So one day, before long, we see it in the first world countries. We see it unless the American content creators are lying to us, we see them, people go to the shop wearing just a panty and a bra, just wearing underwear, going to the shops. Because if ever we don't raise these issues, we don't discuss these issues, we don't address these issues, they will hit us hard, they will hit us very fast, and we wouldn't know what has happened, how did it happen, and we'll have absolutely no control. So moral decay, it is a real thing that we need to start discussing sincerely and authentically as not just families, but as a society. And remember, to change something, it always begins with self. If me, I'm gonna just ignore or whatever. So what it did for us as a family, it was just a bit uncomfortable, because we always pride ourselves in how we present ourselves to the public. Like showing respect to the next person, you know, things like that. We pride ourselves in that. And now, if ever we are lacking in our morale, we are lacking in how we carry ourselves to a point where we are violating other people's rights, is it still a right thing to do? We know that as a society, these are conversations that are held even at a level of parliament, I think, moral decay. And these are the symptoms of it. These are the symptoms of it. And how do we ignore that? So that's a conversation maybe it would be great to see you fellow ambassadors having, and amongst yourselves, in your families, in your homes, at your places of work. If something is seen as indecent at your place of work, you can't be like that. It's indecent. How is it decent? How is it okay at another space? And the issue of indecency, public indecency, it has filtered through the church. Oh my God, let's just forget the church, because even it has gone bad. It's a disease. We understand, we know that the church, I'm speaking of Christian faith in this particular point. The church, we know that it attracts people of all the different background. The church is more like a spiritual hospital. And at the hospital, it attracts people from all walks of life. And the same is true with the church, attracts all people from all walks of life. But now, this moral decay that is like a disease that has infiltrated the church, where I'm coming from, is where now the church leaders, whether male or female, but we see it a lot with females, whether male or female, the female church leaders, they are wearing outfits that leave very little to the imagination. So, and that is not being addressed. That is not being corrected. Yes, you do get those people who do raise their eyebrows, who do raise their voices, who do point out the bad behavior, but nothing is being done. Is it something that we just need to give up on? And just like HMB is saying, just ignore them. Is there anything that we can do? Because not only that, this, like we're saying, it is a symptom of a very, very grave disease that is eating at our community. We see it with our school kids. Schools just open, children have just gone back to school. We're still going to see now shocking things. We're going to see shocking things where these young girls are not behaving like young girls. It's all about they want to sexualize themselves. Yes, I understand you are young, you are still in your, I don't know, you are young, you just want to be out there. The world is still this magical place to you, and you are a flower that wants to be seen. But how is that flower wanting to be seen? If ever we allow moral decay to be like a cancer that is eating at our society, eating and eating at our society, tomorrow, what type of a world are we going to live in? What type of a family are we going to have tomorrow? So that's a conversation that it would be great that we start actively and consciously having those engagements, having those discussions. So like I said, we were at a family outing, we were at a resort. There was a exclusive adult area where it's only for adults. There was no promiscuity going on at that adult place, because we were peering through, because we thought we could go in. We were told, no, it's only for adults. Because like we want to go inside, we want to use this pool because we want to experience all the different areas. And we were with the kids. Then the gentleman who works there, like, the entrance is on the other side of the building. You have to go around the fence. You'll find the entrance on the other side, but you won't be able to go in because you guys have kids with you. This pool is only for adults. And remember, we had peered through and we could see people were dressed. So it's not a nudist beach or anything like that, or a nudist pool or anything like that. But if ever it is provided there's an adults only area. There's an area that is open for whole families. There's areas that is just for small kids. They even put there children who are more than 1.2 meters tall are not allowed, to show you that it's only for kids. And then you get ladies in their little to nothing that they've worn going to a kiddies pool, and the rules are clearly marked there. The pool is to be used if a child or a person is more than if a child is more than 1.2 meters, they're not allowed there. Tall ladies who don't have children, you can see they went out. It's a girls' outing that they went to. They just go in there. Of course, for them, they were not going there to enjoy that pool like us with kids. We went there to enjoy the pool with our children. They went there for content. So someone can say, argue and say, oh no, they were not going there to swim. They just wanted to take pictures. Take pictures dressed like that in front of children. I am still trying to raise my child. We have small children. We have grannies there. And you come there practically not dressed, and you're not even respecting that particular area. So this is not just a matter of moral decay. It now touches on respect. It touches on respect because now it has gone to a level where you can't even respect a space that is designated and designed for a specific group of people, strictly for a specific group of people, because you want your pictures, you want to appear with your bum sticking out because you like how it looks. That kiddies area, a kiddies area, nohal, you want to be there. You will just ignore all the rules that are there and go there and pose in front of babies and their parents in your not so dressed self just for photos. So the question still rises, I still ask the question, is moral decay in our society, in our families. If that is your sister, do you address that? If that is your wife, do you address it? If that is your child, your daughter, do you address that? What do you say? If you are going out with your branch of friends and someone is practically not dressed, just because it has a name to it, it's a swimsuit, do you address it? Do you ignore it, or do you compliment? Or do you say, oh, wow, you've got a hot body. Oh, you look great. Oh, you look amazing. What do we do about it? One thing I know for sure, we are not helpless. Something can be done. Yes, we can't change the world. We can't do much for anything. We can't change like the world and say, but what is it that we can do? We are still live. I see people are coming in and out. This is so exciting. I'm very, very exhausted today. We were on a long trip and we just got back, and I had to just connect. And hi there, Valerie. How are you? I like it when people are sharing there in the chat. Maybe if ever you guys can share, let's share ideas. We're talking about moral decay that we find ourselves in, more specifically to the improper dressing that we are witnessing in our daily lives. We all know, if you take the gyms, for example, you know, we get these people who take, this thing is everywhere. I'm just using my experience from my holiday that we had as an example. How are you, Valerie? As I'm speaking, Valerie, I'm trying to understand what you wrote. What does it mean? You my ops. Somebody please help me. I'm a little old, so if there is a new lingo, I get thrown off completely. So what we need to ask ourselves, we are not helpless people. We are honestly not helpless. You know, society goes to ruins when good people keep quiet. We may be small in numbers, we may have smaller voices, but what is it that we are teaching our own people? For me, for us, people who've got with children, whether you've got a boy child or a girl child, we're in trouble. We are really in trouble, because now I'm going out there with my teenage son, and he gets exposed to a female anatomy way before he's at a level of maturity where he exposes himself on his own. These things are forced onto him. I remember there were times where you would watch TV, there would be age restriction, all because somebody maybe is going to appear in a bathing suit, a swimsuit. But now you don't need age restrict, it's everywhere. So what is it that we can do before this disease is spread to a point where we see people in our shopping malls, we see people in our public places like the shopping malls where we see people there dressed like that. So public indecency, I know it's a broad topic. It's very broad. It touches on a lot. A lot of how do I put it? It's a lot. There's public indecent public acts and stuff, but this time I'm referring to where we present ourselves indecently. It may not be you, but it may be your friend, it may be whoever. And this is spreading so much. The worry is that that show where we show that being dressed properly, it shows that you respect yourself, you respect your body, and you in turn you respect the next person. So hi there, Tracy Mtetwa, how are you? I think if somebody knows what Valerie was typing there, it's like, you my ops. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it means. So I can't even comment on it. So our conversation for today is all about how we are presenting ourselves out there. I know I drilled a lot on women. It's because we see it a lot with women, but the same applies to men because we see this disease, it's spreading all over. And very soon, before long, there will be no place for decent people there'll be no place for, I don't know, for normal people to hide, because it's normal people who are doing this. When I was growing up here in South Africa, which was not so long ago, by the way, you couldn't even walk out in the street wearing a tight. Like, even as long as it's a tight, you just can't. It's not allowed. It's frowned upon. It's a huge no. But then now people can walk out wearing those skimpy strings, and they call skimpy strings, and then they're out there in the public. And where do we draw the line? It's okay if people want to be free with their bodies. We always vouching and saluting and rooting for body positivity. But when is body positivity? As a church person, I would say demonic, because that's what it is, right? You need to respect your body, and you can't be at a family establishment, a place that caters for families, a place that caters for small children, and when you are out there with your not so dressed self. I mentioned that we see this, it's not only about pools, it's just that I'm coming from there, it's what I'm rooting on or anchoring my conversation on, but we see it happening in our churches, where our church leaders, they leave very little to imagination in their dress code. And if me as a church leader, that's how I dress myself, how do I call you to order? If me as a mother, that's how I dress myself, tomorrow when my child makes a mistake, how do I correct him? Soon, at least the corporate is still tough. The corporate at least is still very strict. They tell you straight, you will not dress like this. You will not dress like that. Be corporate, be professional in your dress code. Even when corporates, they have informal functions, the corporates would say, don't dress inappropriately. Remember, as much as we are here to have fun, we are still colleagues, we are still co-workers, we are here, still respect your body. I think this is a conversation we are shying away from. I remember there was a time there used to be a law on public indecency. how you expose yourself to the public, how you dress yourself to the public. Is that still a conversation? Is that law still there? Did it die somewhere? So that's something that it would be great to hear what the masses have to say, especially you, family, and especially you, ambassadors for a fulfilling lifestyle. I don't want to be raving and like a mad woman, but I'm hoping that that which we have shared, it's something that's a seed that has been planted in your mind, and it's something you will be thinking about. What if it's your mother who is wearing a thong as a bathing suit, as a swimsuit, going to a pool, and you're walking with them? How would that be? Is it okay? If it's your daughter, is it okay? If it's your grandmother, is it okay? And what's very important to understand is that, I still say it, we are not helpless. But if we do not discuss these things, if we don't bring these things to the table, it is our society, it is our community that we live in, by the way, that gets ruined. And we have to live in a stinking mess. So I know that it's a bit difficult to go to somebody and say, hey, cover up, hey, you're not appropriate. But I think once these conversations, they start rising, we start raising the bell. Ringing the bell, raise the alarm, keep mentioning it over and over. If I mentioned the US, I see now in the US now, they are talking about, the president was talking about make America great. And now they're hanging on to that, which I love, which is make decency great again. No, make modesty great again. So let's make modesty great again. I don't have a scripture with me, but I just want to see if I can get a scripture that talks about, and I will quote it, that will talk about how to dress. I know it would seem as if I'm attacking women, but like I said, it also applies to men. It's just that we see it a lot with women. And you men are not off the hook as well. You will see, even you go to church, you find a man of God, a leader, wearing those tight, those tight pants and those tight shirts of muscles. That too is not right. I'm looking for that scripture that I'm gonna, in closing, I just wanna quote that so that we understand these are not hoo-ha, hot air that us uptight people are talking about, but it's moral decay. It's a very terrible disease that needs to be snipped at the butt. And unfortunately for us right now, we've way past the butt. This thing is flowering, this thing is blossoming, but it's not too late for us to groom our society. We need to ask ourselves, when I am old and I have grandkids, what type of a community I want to live in. So let's see, Bible scripture. I'm going to search for it. Bible. I'm so tired. Even my typing, it's spelling errors. Bible scripture on modesty, on dressing modestly. I'll find it. You see, there's a few. There's a few. So I'm going to read this one. It doesn't make specific direct reference to clothing, but if you listen to it, it's sort of like, there's quite a few. I'm going to read another one, but I want to start with this one, which is 1 Corinthians 12, verse 23. It says, mentions treating less, okay, let me get the scripture because this is what it talks about. So 1 Corinthians 12, verse 23, it mentions treating less honorable parts with special modesty and unpresentable parts with special honor, linking to appropriate presentation. And if you look at 1 Timothy 2, verses 9 to 10, He says, likewise, I want women to adorn themselves with proper apparel, with modesty and self-control. Guys, these things are sign of zero self-control, zero respect. So with modesty and self-control. Okay, we're not going to talk about, not with braided hair or gold or pearls, but with what. So I just want to stop there with modesty and self-control. Yes, it's a Bible scripture, it's blah, 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 blah. But it's important that for us women, we present ourselves with modesty and self-control and self-respect. How are you going to respect me tomorrow if ever you see me, you know my nakedness, you've seen my nakedness, and tomorrow I want you to take me seriously? Cool. Guys, thank you so much. It's a bit heavy and serious, today's conversation. I thank everyone who has contributed in the chat. I am not in my outdoor studio. My outdoor studio, my makeshift studio. Like I said, I've just arrived. Didn't get a chance to sort things out, but I just want to plant that seed with you. Yeah, you know, I even got a second. I just want to leave you with that seed, having it planted. At which point, when do we draw the line? When do we say enough is enough? What is it that we can do? Because one thing we know for sure, we are not helpless. When do we want to get to a point where the moral decay is a disease, a cancer that has eaten everything, where we see our grandmothers in skimpy clothes, in half dress? We want to see our, I don't know, like I said, where I was at, I went to the kiddies, we're at the kiddies section, and women who are basically practically not dressed, practically naked. They came there. Yes, they came for content, but they were not allowed to be there. Thank you so much, Tracy. Thank you so much, Trace. Thank you. Yes, Trace is saying it's so heavy. It is a heavy topic and it's a huge burden. And that's why we just want to ignore it. It's so heavy. You know, it's too heavy a burden to carry. You know, so it's so heavy, but very important and something to ponder on. I think that's a great line for us to end our live today. Sorry, we started late. I was not sure if I was going to make the live, but let's take it. Let it be a seed. Let it be something that we ponder on. Let it be a conversation that we have amongst our peers. Let it be, you know, you don't have to wait to see your friend not dressed appropriately. You know, as we are discussing and sharpening one another, when you're sitting with your friends, you're sitting with your family, bring up these conversations. Yes, there's establishments, people who don't enjoy wearing clothes. There is areas that are reserved just for them so they can freely, you know, they can expose themselves as they want, however they want, without offending anyone. But the thing is that in all of that, where in public areas where we find families, we find children, how do we protect that community and still protect their rights as well? While the one who doesn't like clothes, they're enjoying their rights, they shouldn't be infringing on another person's rights. So we want this disease gone in our community, gone in our churches, gone in our places of work. We want this disease gone everywhere. You know, for certain conducts, there is areas for that. Maybe it's something that, as we are discussing with our families, and also, you know, because what happens is that when we are sitting as friends or family, when we discuss a topic that was never raised before, maybe me, I've never seen anything wrong with it, but the fact that it's being discussed and it's being raised, I start to think about it. I start to ponder on it, you know, and next time when I go out, you are correcting my own behavior without me having put myself in that particular position. That's why it's important these conversations need to be had, because you are correcting someone's behavior way before it happens to them. And also, once again, what I'm going to ask you is that when you are out there with your family, we are out there with your friends, let's correct one another. Let's point out things that needs to be corrected with one another. You know, there is a place there's a time and a place for everything. We're not saying there isn't a time, there isn't a place. There definitely is, but there is a time and a place for everything. I love you all so, so much. And thank you so much for joining our live today. And thank you to all our contributors to the conversation. Really, really appreciate it. I don't know if I can scroll through the names. We had Holy Priests, who contributed. We've got my son. We've got Cupcake. I still love the name Cupcake. We've got HMB5479. Valerie Goodwill, thank you so much. We've got Tracy Mtetwa. Thank you all so much. And I hope you enjoy your Saturday. And as we are entering the weekend and you're going to your fun places to enjoy, just keep the question of morality in your mind. And we are godly people made in God's image. You know, our body is the vessel in which God lives in. So when you see your body, that's God's temple. And how are you presenting that temple to out there in the public? And also, if you are not a religious or a spiritual person, I want you to think of it this way. Today, you bump into me and you know my nakedness. Tomorrow, we meet in a boardroom. You need something from me or I need something from you. Would you take me seriously? Would you take me seriously? Would you, because now that you've seen my nakedness, when we go on higher levels in rooms and platforms and boardrooms, would you take me seriously? Hi, Ditlan, how are you? Ditlan John Lee Bernard. Ditlan John Lee Bernard, you're joining us as we are saying bye. But thank you so much for stopping by. If ever you've missed this, you can go back a bit. It was a very heavy conversation we had today, but it's those conversations that need to be had. Feel free to watch again. Feel free to share with your friends. And if ever there is anything extra, please do come in and comment. And as we are sharpening one another, as iron sharpens iron, remember we are ambassadors for a fulfilling lifestyle, reaching and working towards being the best version of ourselves, contributing to society and making a positive impact and a difference. I love you all. Enjoy the weekend. Stay safe. Choose wisely, choose your friends wisely, and surround yourself with the right people. Remember to read. Leaders are readers, but not all readers are leaders, but leaders are readers. Remember to read, empower yourself, and don't be afraid to shine your light. Bye. Now I'm going to switch this thing off. I've already said bye. This thing, young, but it likes to make me look like, I was born yesterday. Let me close the video while I sort myself out. Bye, everyone.